Cynicism to NuTrek in Star Trek Picard? You decide. Star Trek Picard revealed this week that Beverly has a son. Or is it her son? Who is the father? Is it a wise writing story choice? What is his role in the season in relation to Jean-Luc, and will it be key to Picard's story? And how will it reflect on him? Are we leaning towards the already famous example in Star Trek with Kirk and his son? These are all questions that are waiting to be answered. At the beginning of this episode, changing the font to evoke a nostalgic feeling from the audience worked for me, although other results may vary. It was telling that the Picard opening credits of Season 1 and 2 have been omitted in what effectively is a soft reboot of the show, and is a continuation of the Star Trek The Next Generation. That's not to say that all the Star Trek elements have disappeared or gone completely. Elements still do remain as we begin the story with a song, and similar to what has come before in previous seasons. This is very much an amalgamation of Picard and The Next Generation. The episode's aesthetics and pacing, especially during the space dock scenes, work to provide nostalgia of what has come before. It feels like a Next Generation movie in its pacing, and during those scenes in particular. And although Beverly has cut herself off from the rest of the crew, her ship does seem to say otherwise and state otherwise. It's laced with history of Lieutenant Commander Jack Crusher's case, Picard's logs being read out aloud from The Best of Both Worlds. Everything on this ship is reminiscent of the past. Speaking of which, when we come to the chateau scenes, Picard is deliberating whether to write his memoirs to prove he can live in the present. He doesn't need a legacy, a theme that will permeate through the show's season. Picard's unwillingness to look back is definitely going to be part of that throughout the course of the next 10 episodes. Levity works really well here too, as well, as Picard is wanting to give the painting to Geordi, with Laris retorting, "Don't you dare." And this continues with Riker and Picard in scenes later with the shuttle and on the bridge of the Titan. It is a trait that will be prevalent through the season and is a welcome addition. We also touch upon the backstory with Riker and Troy, which for now is something to be aware of. Something has happened and this needs to be a distraction for Riker to get away from his family. Is Riker feeling restless? Raffi's situation is used to good effect here. I do like Michelle Hurd, but these scenes, for now, feel a little forced for my personal taste, and maybe a tad too much on the melodramatic side. I did, however, enjoy her story of substance abuse. Going back into that well was used to good effect and showcased her struggle. It also left the audience with questions on which side that she was currently on at the moment, with regards to, is she working in Starfleet, is she down and out, is she suffering some deep depression, etc., etc. I think that works really, really well. The attack itself is devastating and relatable to what we could expect in our current world climate, rather than being a universe-ending event. Attacking the future of Star Trek by going for the new recruits is an interesting target. And is there, and I do feel a little bit of this, is there a layer of cynicism to NuTrek here? But that's something for you to decide. Shaw doesn't like Seven being called Seven. He insists on Commander Hansen. He's quite antagonistic towards Riker, Picard and Seven, and is quite disrespectful at times, and this is done with great effect. He comes across as passive-aggressive, has numerous excellent put-downs, and he's no fool, though. He does see through ruses, but he does want to seem to appear to stay within his lines. He is the captain of the ship, and you feel like he's earned that place, and he doesn't want to lose it. The ultimate humiliation comes with the giving Picard and Riker bunk beds as the sleeping arrangements, which was a good callback to Star Trek VI again. And Riker's reaction to Shaw while dissing Picard for being ex-Borg was really fantastic work. And then going back onto that, reflecting on that a little bit more as well, with Seven, who respects command but is being restrained by it. We get allusions to Janeway and Picard. But the way that she can talk to Picard in a way that Shaw can't really worked effectively as well. Riker, again, in the same kind of mode, tries to intercept to protect Picard from these verbal attacks from Seven, but because it's two friends in a heated discussion, this definitely does feel earned. Overall, the episode feels at times like a movie with its pacing and visuals. Some may not like the colour grading of the show, but I, for one, am happy with it. The focus on Beverly, Picard and Riker felt right, with Raffi being on the fringe, who has given the B-plot the threat to deal with, which I thought was good, and that will come into play later into the season. It's a solid episode and had some great promise, and I'm really looking forward to seeing the rest of this season as it transpires. Make it so.